Hey, you Metalidads, it's myself, Daddy Hugh.
And it's me, Papa Ben, once again. I say, well, actually, I say once again. In retrospect to us, it's again.
It
But
is again.
actually, weirdly, this is the first video that will be posted on the channel. So it's
Absolutely.
it's nice seeing you again, and it's nice
It's
seeing you
nice.
guys for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for bringing us together just to chat about this. So,
Yeah, sorry, no worries.
what, yeah, no worries, man. So what we're doing tonight, basically, it's sort of it's a random one, really. It's basically a reaction to some news. For those who follow news within the metal community, you might have heard a couple of days ago that Marco Hietala from Nightwish uh, put quite a bold statement out saying why he's resigning from the band,
Hmm.
and that's what. Well, so it's basically a reaction to that news, and specifically the reasons why he says in his resignation. So, Ben, maybe I think it's a good idea if I just maybe read his statement because it's actually really interesting. Just as a way to start,
Yeah,
I'll try
definitely.
and
I've
read it
I've
out.
got it myself. So yeah, if you read it, I'll follow it along with you as well, just so we know
Yeah,
where we are.
any particular voice you want me to do it in? No, sorry.
uh,
I'm not prepared at all. Brings out the flute. I'm joking. Anyway, yeah, I'll just read it out as it is. So this is released on his Instagram page 2 days ago. So this is again Mark Hietala, the bass player for Nightwish, and well, you could call him lead vocalist to an
yeah,
extent.
yeah, definitely.
As of late, he's done a lot more lead singing. So he says on his Instagram page, "So dear people, I'm leaving Nightwish and my public life. For quite a few years now, I haven't been able to feel validated by this life. We have streaming company big guns demanding 9 to 5 work from the artists of inspiration while unfairly sharing the profits. Even among the artists, we're the banana republic of the music industry. Biggest tour promoters squeeze percentages even from our own merchandise while paying dividends to Middle East. Apparently, some theocracies can take the money from the music that would get you beheaded or jailed there without appearing as hypocrites. Just a couple of examples here. So this past year forced me to stay at home and think. I found myself very disillusioned about these and a lot of things. I found out that I am in need of that validation. So for me to write, sing, and play, I need to find some new reasons and inspirations. My Walden, so to speak. My Walden is a reference to a Nightwish song, for those who aren't familiar. And it's even in my book that I'm chronic depressive. It's dangerous for me and the people around me if I continue. Some of the thoughts a while back were dark. Don't worry, I am fine. I have my 2 sons, a wife, the rest of the family, friends, and a dog, and lots of love. And I don't think that I'll be gone for good. Conspiracy is the word of the day. For the people who like them, I need to say that it's my 55th birthday, and it is actually today is actually his
Yeah.
55th birthday, the 14th of January 2021, and he's certainly done his time for now. So, for example, blaming, for instance, Thomas, the keyboard player, is an insult to both him and my free thinking. This is a very sad thing to us all too. Have care, please. So, but of course, now we'll know if some go there on purpose. There are a couple of things agreed on that I will do in 2021. Otherwise, I kindly ask, and with respect, ask the media, bands, artists, projects, etc., to not ask me for anything within the next year. I have some reinventing to do. I hope to tell you about it in 2022. It's not a promise, though. I am so sorry to hear about this. So I'm so sorry about this, Marco Hietala. P.S. Funny thing to end on. Tony Iommi is an exception to the no contact whatsoever. Childhood hero takes a precedence. So I think I was written in a big rush as well.
Yeah, it
Lot
was.
of
Yeah.
this sort of sounds doesn't make sense compared to the sentence that came before. But just a reference towards the end in regards to a reference to the keyboard player and conspiracy theories. I think there's been some conspiracy theories going around the metal sphere, if you wish, that it's because of friction with him and the long-standing keyboard player and composer of the band that they've sort of fallen out, and this has actually been the catalyst, if you will.
Yeah.
But he's just saying for the record, literally, it's not that simple. It's literally as simple as it's health and music industry related. So, Papa Ben, what do you say to that?
Well, we've been having. I think the conversation about the music industry is actually come up a few times in the Metalidads Facebook group, as of late. And the thing that I mean, I'm not the biggest Nightwish fan, but I appreciate them. Um, the thing that makes me really sad about this is this is a long-standing veteran of the industry, In some cases, you could call him a legend, and a pioneer potentially, and this is from what he's saying, it's the state. And bearing in mind, he's seen the evolution of the industry over well,
Yeah,
25 years.
just over 20. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Um, and for it to have grinded him down to the point where he has to step away from it. And this is like he's made the statement. This is essentially the sole reason. Is it's the way that the music industry is treating the bands. It it's just really sad. It's
Yeah.
and you know, just makes you think like what without sounding too doom and gloom. What chance does a new and upcoming band have if this is how a veteran feels about the industry?
Yeah, man.
It's very sad, and that's really the only way I can describe it. I'm sad that this is how he's been made to feel. Yes, you take into consideration that he says he's a chronic depressive, and obviously that will have some impact on his thought process. But the fact that he's still having to make, he's made the decision, and I mean, for his sake, I'm glad he's made this decision. He's been able to. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision, but he's been able to kind of step away and cut the pressure that there is on him to produce. He's been able to step away and go, no, actually, I need to take this time for myself, and I need to work on myself. I need to get better. I'm obviously, he's not feeling great about this current situation. So the fact that he's able to kind of fight back, if you want to put it that way, I'm glad about that. I'm glad that he's seen that this is what the industry has done, and to himself, and he's able to act upon it. That's a good thing, because what we don't want is something worse happening because he didn't listen to himself. It's all about,
Absolutely.
it's all about mental health. It's all about its self-worth. And there's nothing more valuable than your own health, your own mental health, and your own self-worth. If you can't put a price, and I don't mean a monetary value, although monetary value obviously comes into it, but if you can't put a price on what, if you can't figure out what you're worth, and you've been made to feel like you can't put a worth on yourself, then you're not setting you're setting yourself up to fail as a result.
Yeah.
So for me, it's less of a fan as such, and more of a I'm just a massive fan of the metal, full stop,
Yeah.
heavy metal and everything, and it's just saddening.
It is saddening.
Obviously, obviously, just before we started, you mentioned obviously you at some point in your life you have been a big fan of theirs. So maybe how is it how is this news? How have you taken it?
To be honest, I'll be completely honest. About probably 11, 12, maybe 11 years ago, I used to listen to a lot of them, mainly because I was getting into I'm probably thrash metal and power metal are sort of neck and neck my favorite two genres of metal, or sort of the more extreme sides. And um, some may I'll say accuse, as in categorize Nightwish maybe in the more mainstream of bands, etc. But they were still very much a big part of almost like a late 90s renaissance, if you will, of power metal, along with bands like Hammerfall, Stratovarius, Sonata Arctica, which are bands I like listening to. So they've definitely etched their place in the tapestry of metal for sure.
Yeah.
I used to have a job. It's not, I won't say similar to you, not similar to you at all, but in the hours it was. I used to be a night manager in a hotel,
Yes,
or
you were.
and a backpackers, and I used to listen to Nightwish's album Dark Passion Play, which was recent. I think 2009. It had I think I had the second singer, the one that replaced Tara, their
Oh
first and
yes.
more
Oh,
more recognizable singer. But yeah, they had the songs "Bye Bye Beautiful" on it, and Amaranth, which is a great
Yeah,
song. But so basically, that album became sweeping and mopping up music, because I had to sweep up the floor,
yeah.
restock the fridges, tidy up everything, make sure breakfast was out for the guests, etc. And by the time I did it all, it almost like to the minute the album would finish. So I'd associate the Nightwish somehow with just like sweeping up and mopping
Hmm,
the floor, and the smell of lime, citrus type of things
lovely.
which you put in the mop and bucket. But I'll be honest, I haven't listened to for quite a few years, but same as you. In regards to just a fan of metal, and I think one sad thing now is, as you touched on, if someone wanted to get started now, what's the initiative, etc. People never really done music to make money, but it was a realistic, sustainable idea if you had a good product, and that
Yeah.
product being you could create music,
Hmm.
and then you could do a few, some live shows, etc. And just a plug in really, on the 16th of March, for those who are interested, listen to more Metalidad videos and podcasts, etc. We will be discussing, we'll be talking about a podcast which is called The Book of Heavy Metal, which is basically a look back on events in heavy metal music over the past 50 years or so, and how they shape what come next. And we're
Hmm.
actually touching on the case in 2000, Metallica versus Napster, which you could
Yeah.
technically trace this all the way back to that
Yeah.
singular event or theme or topic. So we won't maybe go too much into
No.
the music industry side of it. But again, sustainability, that's one thing, um, is a struggle these days, not just in music, but if it's, I don't know, man, food production or so many things. There's so
Yeah.
much demand. And as I told you before, I think there's a massive deal now where the demand is people want things quick, good quality, and most of the time for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, such as life. So it really is sad, as you said, that yeah, someone who's a veteran. And again, before Nightwish, I was just doing a bit of reading on Wikipedia. He was in a band of the late 80s, early 90s called Tarot, I think so. So he's been going, musically for a while. And again, he's 55 today, so he's had a good career.
Yeah.
But one thing I can actually bring everyone in who's been alive during the COVID era, I suppose, is, we've all been sitting on our laurels, just doing a lot of thinking over the past
Yeah.
year or so, and I'm
Definitely.
sure yourself, myself, are probably been in the exact same situation as Marco, in the regards of you're almost like trying to not rejig, but almost like review. I can't think of the word, but trying to take notes on your life and how you
Yeah.
live your life. And I
Yeah.
definitely,
Definitely.
what I've done this year, even though some years have been months have been more of a struggle than others, um, you want to do more of what makes you happy and less of what makes you unhappy. That's one thing I've
Definitely.
been trying to do more this year. And what have I done? It's start Metalidads, but just start listening to more metal music. I thought I haven't done this in a long time. But yeah, so I think we all have that in common with him, really, is that we've
Yeah.
almost like tried to, been writing lists or thinking, it's weighing options, isn't it? You've been weighing the
Yeah.
options, and it's a sad that in this case, that someone who's got so much love for it realizes now this is the reality. And I always say this: sometimes the bravest thing you can do as a person sometimes is say no.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
think that's what he's done here. And interesting enough, just before we logged on and started chatting to each other tonight, I was just looking at some YouTube reaction videos to maybe other people around the metal sphere.
Yeah.
That's a new word now, metal sphere.
Metal sphere.
That I've been listening to, that I've been giving their take on the resignation. And one of my favorite bands is Dragon Force. That's not a secret. As you notice, yeah, Herman Lee, the guitarist, he's got a really
Yeah.
interesting podcast, really entertaining, and he's been doing that through March. I was watching a video he released, I think, just less than a day ago, on it as well, and he was just saying that he, with most of what he says, he agrees, and just thinking even. Of course, now there's less emphasis. I won't say less emphasis on music, but people, which we'll talk about later in the next podcast,
Yes. Yeah.
to make money from the actual physical copies or digital, it is impossible unless
Yeah.
you are Metallica
Yeah.
or a band that are
It,
so big that
it, it,
you're in the billion mark,
yeah.
which
And
happened this week.
yes. Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? With it kind of. I mean, I'm talking. my experience of the music industry well, I don't know if grassroots is the right word, but it is essentially the grassroots in terms of you're playing the local clubs. You know, did enough to kind of play around the UK, in different places, and you meet lots of different people, promoters, and that. Um, and it's nothing different than the top from what I can see on from what I've seen. It's all about, like you said, people want, or promoters or venue owners or whoever, they they want they want everything from you, but they very rarely do you get the respect that you deserve in terms of they don't pay you. They the the pet peeve is when they say, "Oh, but this is exposure. I don't need to pay you."
Yeah,
I've had that so
that
many
word
times.
exposure.
Yeah,
Here you go. Here's some exposure money. Oh, nice. Pay the
yeah,
mortgage. Lovely.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And the thing is, though, it's crap. Unless the only time you would take like a free gig, like for a genuine exposure, is if somebody said, "Do you want to go on and play support to Metallica at Wembley Stadium?" Of course, I'll do that one for free. I'm playing in front of hundred
yeah.
thousand people. That's
That's
exposure.
exposure. Yeah.
You know, people are going to react to that. Not 35 people down the local
Yeah.
rock bar.
Not Catay's Cons Club in Cardiff.
No, yes, exactly. You know, so that's always been a pet peeve of mine from personal experience and that. So it's real low level compared to this, but it's the same deal.
It's value, isn't it? I think that's
Yeah.
one thing that changes over time. If it's monetary
Mm.
or just public, just public perception of things, it's value. And as I said, the F again, if it's art in general, if it's again food. This is a weird anecdote I'm about to use on you now, but I remember a couple of years ago I was in a cafe. I asked for a cup of tea, and I'm from rural Wales originally, hence the accent. And farming's a big part of the industry in the area, so you sort of got more of appreciation of the efforts that go into just produce. And I remember I had a cup of tea, and you get a little jug of milk, and then you put it in your tea. And I drank the tea, and I had a little bit of milk left. And I drank the milk, and I said to the lady in the cafe, I said, "Oh, this milk is really nice." And she laughed. She had a London accent. No offense to anyone from London, but she's from London, and she laughed at me like I just said the stupidest thing. "Oh, you're laughing because milk tastes funny?" Because in London it comes off a shelf in Tesco. It just automatically appears. It's like people. There's a generations and generations of people now which basically almost don't value effort that goes into the creation of
Yeah.
things. And then obviously in this case it's music. People think
Yeah.
it appears from the digital, you
Yeah.
know the clouds, and it just comes down. But again, it's the effort and the
Mm.
and the energies that go in. So yeah. So sustainability, it's tough right now,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping, I was on Herman Lee's Facebook page, sorry, his YouTube channel earlier. When he's talking, he's got like fans just scrolling up, just typing things in, and someone saying, "Do you think this will be start of a revolution?" I thought, "Oh, I want to be part of a revolution. Let's do
Yeah.
something." Let's do something.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this is
This is
its
how it
own, like,
is.
this is actually its own, it's a negative one, but it's in technically, people talk about, if rock and roll, or the psychedelic 60s, or punk, or grunge. These have all been musical revolutions, but the biggest one ever, unfortunately, has been the digital era
Yeah.
revolution, because look at how much it has changed music. If it's
Mm.
because people can't do as much, of a living from the music, so that's why people will be coming out of retirement to do all these reunion tours, left,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
center. I
Definitely.
think
Yeah.
probably who kicked. I think Sting probably, and the Police probably or Led Zeppelin sort of kick started that in like 2007ish, around that end,
Yeah.
and people will be doing it.
Ever since.
Rick Astley, etc. They'll be coming back from the woodwork. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
And
maybe that's something we can
it
talk about maybe in more detail
definitely. I
down the
mean,
line. But yeah.
that's the thing as well. Is you you want to be an artist, like that is what you want to be. If I had the opportunity, being a musical artist is something that I would want to be. But sadly, we're in a weird situation where the product I create is not the thing that will make me the money. It
Yeah,
it's the tool that will help me brand myself that will then eventually make me money. It's such a weird thing because if you if you and this is not to say that one type of art has got it over the other. It's not, but if you make, and I know it's not as simple as this, but if you're a painter, paint, you obviously all the planning and everything that goes into it to make you make your painting, you sell, you sell your painting, you that's the money you've made from it. I don't know if any royalties come into it and that, but music is this really weird situation where you put your heart and soul into it, like you do with all art. You create this product, and it's your baby. For it might as well be it's a child to you because you've created it out of you. It's part of you, or it's a collaboration of you and other people who you're usually quite close to, especially if you're in a band. That's just, you become very close because you're all very, very connected in that way. And then all of a sudden, someone's telling you it's worthless. I'm not paying you to I'm not paying you for your music. I'm not paying for you for playing your music live. It and then when you do think, oh, okay, well, let's start making money on, like, let's put it on Spotify, let's put it on Apple, let's put it on wherever, blah, 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 whichever ones, which we'll go into further detail. And then when you start looking into like the payouts per stream, which again I'll go into the detail when we do our episode on that.
Yeah.
It's depressing. And again, if you really want to make money from it, like you have to be getting like 1 billion views from it basically now it's just all about you have to spread yourself as far as you can spread. Every platform you can get yourself on, you need to put yourself on. And it's just a case of taking tiny little bits of everything to try and make a living out of it. And yes, if you can get 1 billion views on every single platform, great.
Yeah.
You probably made a couple of million. Which again, if you put that into perspective, you need probably, off the top of my head, you need like 10 billion views to make like $1 million, pounds, whatever.
Pounds,
which is astronomically out of proportion. Astronomically out. But yeah, like I said, it's not about the music is a tool to brand yourself. That's it. And it's what you can add to it. It's the look. It's the branding that goes with it, and it's what you can sell using that branding. Like you said, there's some bands have nailed it. AC/DC, always see stuff like that. Iron Maiden, you always see people with Maiden shirts, and some people don't even know what the band is, but they just know the shirt. Yeah. Metallica have done pretty well. Slipknot, you always see Slipknot shirts around. I can't believe the band has escaped me, but the Lips.
Oh, Rolling Stones.
Thank you. Yeah. Completely.
No worries.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like again, talking about a weird reference to agriculture, but it's like the old model of just having cattle doesn't work anymore. You have to sell gin, cheese. Yeah. It's almost like you have to have all these little other streams because the old model isn't working anymore. So that's why you've got.
That's the model. That's the model that you want to put all your heart and soul into, because that's what you're passionate about. Yeah. And now you're being told, yeah, that's okay, but we're not paying you for it. What you've now got to do is use that as just a tool to do all the other things that you don't want to do as much of. It's crazy. It's crazy. But
yeah, you have to be very much an entrepreneur, because you've got to have all these fingers and all these pies.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all these bands that are bringing out beer, vodka, gin, whiskey. Like
even some massive bands are doing it. Slipknot have got a whiskey. Metallica, I've got a whiskey.
Yeah, it's called Blackened. I was looking at it actually as maybe getting it as a Christmas gift for a friend of mine. But I love him, but I'm not spending £400 on the git. No way. Yeah, it's quite pricey. So you have to be a diehard fan, and I haven't got the fun just to do it. It wouldn't be for me. I do like whiskey, but I've got single malt Welsh Penderyn, so nothing beats that, of course. So, but yeah, man. So, yeah, so I suppose just to conclude, really. So
Hmm.
a bloke who's he's come to the end of his tether, and he's just doing it for his own health and his own family. And as he said, even though he's been in dark days, he knows if he continues being self-aware, that he's not going to be an effective person within the
Yeah,
unit, and he needs to make sure everyone around him is safe. So he's doing the brave thing, really, just keeping it. Metalidads keeping it on the health side of stuff as well as
yeah.
the industry as well. So I could say, and I've been on Google Translate, so you'd say "Onia veli," poor luck proud, or good luck brother. That's what I say to him. So I don't know much Finnish, but there we go. I can say good
Say
luck
that.
brother. But yeah, we bet wish him all the best as well,
Yes,
and
definitely.
happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, yeah.
Happy birthday, happy 55th birthday.
And
So
hopefully, this decision he's made, he can find what he needs.
absolutely.
That's what this is all about. Is if he can find what he's looking for, and it makes him happy, then that's right. And as you said, the bravest thing you can do is say no,
Yeah,
and also it is saying no, but also admitting when something, I don't want to say he's defeated you. That's the wrong way of putting it,
yeah.
but when something has,
Got a hold.
like, yeah, they're like, there's a certain, obviously, of course, there's a certain level of you'll fight and you'll keep going and you keep going, you keep going, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it will affect your state of mind, your physical health, whatever it may be, if it will affect you negatively, you have to be, to kind of put it in an old sense, you've got to be man enough to say no. I've done my bit. I've done all the fighting I can. I've put as much work into this as I can. Like, it's now just about me. I need this, and I'm stepping away, and that is that. The take of the, doesn't matter what pressure I've got on me to produce X, Y, and Z. I'm done. I'm stepping away. I am protecting myself.
Do you know you actually had a nice little reverse toxic masculinity there to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
man up and say no. Love
yeah,
it. Brilliant.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's complete reverse
yeah,
toxic masculinity, but man up and say no. Absolutely right, man.
yeah,
But yeah, man, excellent. Like I said, it's just nice to discuss this because it's no matter we all like music, and this going forward with the model music has now, how much is this going to affect the amount of content available to us in the regards of how much do bands want to carry on doing what they're doing to yeah, just for the masses, because if there's not a great deal of incentive, then we might potentially lose hell of a lot of talent and just people coming through over the next 10 years or so. So I suppose it's all about sustainability. I'm absolutely all over a revolution. Let's go to the streets, man.
definitely.
The vinyl is coming back.
It is.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
just a tiny byproduct of a bunch of people who want to see the old way, and
cassettes are
maybe
becoming big.
yeah.
Plenty of people are buying cassettes now these days. Maybe the CD will also get a revolution, and people will want to start buying CDs again rather than just downloading and streaming. You know?
Because I think in our diaspora, if you want to say it, the metal diaspora. It's a big university used diplomatic word in social sciences, diaspora. But yeah, especially in metal, I think there's statistics that shows, I haven't got them to hand, but I read this somewhere, is that people who listen to rock and metal, specifically metal, have this, they will pump more money into merchandise
Mm,
and physical copies of the music, because
yeah.
like we were discussing in our rock perspective in the year 1990 about how much you love the Cannibal Corpse Eaten Back to Life album
Yeah.
cover. People like to have the album cover, to look at it, to read the sleeve, even look at the
Mm,
lyrics, to have look some arty bits and some artwork, etc. So that's important, I think.
mm.
And like I said, the CD thing might come back again, so maybe this is a sign that things need to change. And will people do it? I don't know really, but I suppose there's a massive emphasis now on support your high street, for
Yeah.
example. That's people are, even though people are doing that, and there's still people, unfortunately, in the retail parks,
Mm.
away from the high street. Retail parks have been major reasons why just the high street alone isn't doing as well as it used to. So yeah, man, who knows? It's this this is just a singular a pin, I suppose, in
Yeah,
an entire board, isn't it, of a situation of what's going to be going on, I suppose. But exciting times, up the
yeah.
revolution. Absolutely. Anyway, so just wanted to say then, to all our listeners, so diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much. Or if you're listening from Finland, it's kitos. Thank you for your company as ever. Remember, no matter the topic we're discussing with Metalidads, whether it's whammy bars or weaning, napalm death or nappies, it's always good to talk. So myself, Daddy Hugh.
And myself, Papa Ben.
It's Nostar from us. So good night, and remember, all you fathers of metal, be kind to yourselves. So catch you on the flip side.
See you soon.